Good morning, Coach Bobby here with Grand Slam 2 for our morning lesson with the Tidewater Bombers and Team MaxBat players. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're not going crazy. Just want to let anybody know who's watching this video, if you'd like to sponsor one of our videos and have your business banner during these tough times, we can help advertise for you. Let us know. If you'd like to drop a video in at the end of this video, if you want us to critique it, I'd be more than happy to help you out. Today we're going to work on a little bit of shadowing and do some drills and skills to show you how you can do that productively at home. Thank you. Okay guys, shadow work. Working on shadow work, the best place to do it is in front of a mirror. You want to make sure that you can kind of see and feel what you're doing when you're working. One of the things I want to talk about before we get into the actual mechanics of your stance, load, and trigger is just your mental preparation and visualization. So many of us are just overwhelmed with anxiety. We have fear, we're getting hit with the ball, we're scared to fail, we've got people barking at us, we got fans, we got coaches, we got players, we got all kinds of exterior just noise coming at us, and we're trying to do something that most people fail at 7 out of 10 times and they're considered great. A lot of anxiety. Try and take a deep breath, try and clear your mind, but the best way to do that is practice doing that. Practice relaxing, practice controlling your breathing habits, and visualize success, visualize greatness, visualize yourself on dirt against an opponent, visualize yourself getting up to bat, visualize that pitcher coming set and throwing that ball to you and seeing a big white baseball or softball coming at you spinning. See yourself making great contact and see a backspin line drive going into the gaps, right center or left center. But just visualize yourself being great over and over and over, and eventually it will start to happen more often. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is just kind of get in our stance, get nice and comfortable. A lot of times people say, just go and hit, but I do believe there's certain fundamentals you gotta have in your stance that are gonna be productive. If your toes are out like this and your knees are out like this and your bat head's straight up and down, you're gonna struggle a little bit trying to get yourself into a good contact point out in front of the plate. So just real simply, point your toes straight in. I like to have them in just a little bit. Make sure your knees are underneath your hips. A lot of times young kids will bend their knees forward. I prefer having our hips going back, kind of making sure our rear end and our hips are on the outside of our heels, giving ourselves a good pyramid, good solid base, so now we can work in our legs. Also like this back knee to be pinched a little bit, so that way when we transfer our weight, we're pinching into our knee instead of getting outside of our foot. Okay? Second part of our stance, once you get your base nice and comfortable, nice and solid, nice and firm, get your hands comfortable. I used to be really avid about making sure your hands were here, here, here. Get them where they're comfortable, okay? Just get them where they're comfortable and get your bat head in a position to where when your foot lands, it's gonna be able to be in an attack position. You don't wanna maybe be here, be here, be here. It might take too long to get there. But anyway, just make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you have a nice little attack position and make sure both eyes are on the pitcher, all right? And now you're ready to get into your weight transfer. When we get into our weight transfer, when we start our load, we just want to make sure that it's quiet, make sure it's simple. You see a lot of big league guys, they'll get their leg really high, but their stride isn't really far. But if that's a way, maybe they're going to transfer their weight. Maybe some guys tap, some guys open up a little bit and then tap forward. Just make it simple. Keep that knee in and get your weight to where when your weight gets back here, it's not past. But the keys to your load have to be slow and controlled, keeping your head and your eyes nice and still. Now, once we've got into our load, we're gonna get into our stride. Stance, load, stride. Stride covers a little bit of ground. It's gotta cover a little bit of ground. It can't go backwards. If you're picking it up and putting it down, it can't be behind your stride foot where you started. A lot of these guys in the big leagues, they'll go here, but their only stride's still really small. So make sure you get nice and comfortable. Stance, load, stride, or stance, load, boom. And then just stride out a little bit. But make sure when your stride foot hits the ground, it's key that you're in attack position ready to go. You have to be in attack position ready to go forward with your hip and your hands, okay? Front shoulders down a little bit, get yourself still in your firm pyramid. When your stride foot lands, you cannot be on your front foot. If you're on your front foot, like Tony Gwynn says, you're out. All right, So we've got to our stride foot, we're in our attack position. The hip, you want this hip to go first. Keeping your hand second, boom, hip goes first, and then your back elbow and your hip will come with you. But this has to drive forward first. And what you want to do is, as you're bringing that hip, as you're exploding, you want to kind of squeeze your rear end underneath your hip. So that way you really are bringing your hip against the firm front side. It'll help carry your back elbow to power slot, be able to drop the bat head out in front of your front foot, really make some good contact. So now we're going to get our hands here, back elbows in power slot, we're out here. We want to kind of get a little bit of extension. We want barrel coverage. You want your barrel to be in the strike zone for the maximum period of time in case you have bad timing. You're here. You want to get that knob as far away from you as possible so you can get some great extension. You want to make sure you're trying to keep your eyes down. They call the Ike and Mike, shoulder to shoulder. Take a good swing. Make sure you hold your balance. Okay, so if I'm at home, don't want to swing a bat in the house, just get in front of my mirror, make sure I have my good pyramid, pinch that back knee, load into my knee, load into my hip, stance, load, stride quiet. Make sure I'm balanced, ready to go. Stance, load, stride quiet. Make sure I have that pyramid ready to go. Stance, load, stride, boom. And then I try and explode and get my elbow to power slide. You want to make sure that popping that hip first, boom, dropping that elbow into power slide. Now, one thing you can do while you're doing all this is make sure that head is staying still. Try and keep those eyes, try and keep that head still when you get yourself ready to get to explosion. Stance, load, 400 times in front of a mirror, just so you can start to feel your muscles and feel your stance, feel your explosion, knowing you're doing it the right way. All right, guys, we have Ryan Shavers here with Patrick Henry Community College. Going to help us out, just show you a little bit of how he shadows at home, what he does in front of a mirror. Go ahead, Ryan, and just get into your shadow, get into your legs, get into your stance. What do you do at home? Stance, gets into his load. Go ahead and load for me. Gets his stride foot, see how it covers ground, back knee pinched in. Go ahead and trigger for us. And notice how his back leg, back hip, everything covers ground forward. So that way he's driving everything through the pitcher, back elbow into power slide. That's great. Now, one of the drills that we do is we do a high knee drill. So that way we're kind of walking through. So can you show us that drill real quick, Ryan? Getting our stance. Get into our load, stride, and boom. And the knee comes up. Now this time he's going to go ahead and step forward after his knee comes all the way up to his belly button. Stance, load, stride, get into it. That way we can kind of get in the habit of covering ground with our back knee. Thank you, sir. Hope you enjoyed the segment on shadowing. Remember, you have to practice relaxation, visualize greatness, and see your body through the movements that you want if you want to perfect it. That way, when you are in the batter's box, you are nice and calm and relaxed, then your muscle memory can just take over and you can be an athlete. Because that's the goal. See the ball, hit the ball, be an athlete, go hard.